creatures of the night, let's talk about Ring of Honor. We had a couple of returns tonight. We started off with 8-man tag action. We started off with the Premier Athletes coming out. Then the Righteous came out, and I was just like, yes, the Righteous, they're back. They're gonna beat up the Premier Athletes, even though I do like Premier Athletes, but I'll take it for a return. Nope. They're actually teaming together to go against Angelico, who's been injured for quite some time, with Serpentico, and they are teaming up with the Kingdom, who's also been gone for quite some time. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Because they did post that the Kingdom and the Righteous will be back in action for this episode. However, they didn't say that they were going against each other. And I like both of these teams, and I was just like, oh no, I didn't want them to go against each other. Either way, really great matchup to start off the show here. And it really made me look at all these teams. Because remember, it's 8-man, but they're 4 teams going against each other here. And I'm just like, there are teams here. There are teams within Ring of Honor. There are teams in AEW. And what are we doing? You know, we have these tag titles that are not really moving anywhere. And now that somebody got some of these teams back, we need to really be doing something with the tag division. Especially after seeing this match, seeing the Kingdom come out to their old Ring of Honor theme, their old gear. So you can tell that they're definitely separate from whatever's going on with Adam Cole and friends. And then the Righteous, they're their typical selves and they're out there. Mark Sterling, typical heel manager, stomping out on the baby faces. And when I'm watching him, I'm just like, you know what? Mark Sterling could have really been teaming up with FTR as a new manager instead of Stokely. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. Now, the Righteous end up taking the win for their team. And I'm okay with it. I'm hoping that we can get something concrete in terms of the direction that we're going with the tag division. Now that we got some of these teams back, 3 teams back, SAP, the Kingdom, and the Righteous, we really need to get a ball rolling when it comes to these titles. Now, I forgot to mention this, but Ring of Honor is supposed to have a pay-per-view next Friday on May 2nd. And they won't be able to do that because they canceled the pay-per-view. The Supercard of Honor pay-per-view was canceled. Typically, this pay-per-view would have happened back in April, sometime in April, late March. They pushed it to May 2nd. Now, they canceled that pay-per-view. So, anybody who bought tickets and didn't hear about it, you can't get a refund for that show. They're pushing that Supercard of Honor pay-per-view to All In Weekend, which means Death Before Dishonor that was going to be sold, they're no longer doing that weekend, and they'll be doing that in September in, I believe, Philadelphia. What are we doing? What happened that we had to move the pay-per-view again? Like, I don't know what's going on, but Tony Khan, we need to get to our P's and Q's. There are people who care about Ring of Honor and would love to see y'all do a hell of a lot more. After this, Lance Archer with Uncle Don go against Crowbar. Yes, if you are a fan of Ring of Honor, you know Crowbar. Crowbar came back and had a pretty good match with Lance Archer. Lance Archer, typically, I do not enjoy anything from him in AEW Ring of Honor. I've enjoyed him in New Japan. I feel like he's a totally different vibe when he's in New Japan. But anyway, he looked really great here. And it wasn't a squash, thank goodness. And he's in the ring with someone that you know can hang with him. And Crowbar did a really great job. Honestly, I didn't even know he was still wrestling, if that's the case. Really great. I would love for him to come back again and have some more matches. I thought this was the perfect opponent for Lance Archer, to not just go out there and squash somebody, but to actually give you a match where you could see, like, what is Lance Archer actually capable of doing. And I think this was really great. Something like this, as much as I'm glad it was on Ring of Honor, he could benefit from doing a match like this on Collision, because he's part of this super group with Uncle Don, with all these really big personalities, these really accomplished guys. And I feel like he needs to do more to step it up to show that he belongs in this group. And this match that almost nobody's watching definitely showed me, like, okay, he definitely belongs in this group. We gotta keep the momentum going for Lance Archer. Now after this, we get a vignette for Nick Wayne after he won the TV title from Commander last week. And it was a really nice vignette because they make him look like a big deal. And please, as great as that vignette was, I really do hope that they treat him like a big deal. He is later on next month going to be going to Japan to be part of the Best of the Super Juniors tournament. And that's for like almost a month. And I don't know how that's going to work out in terms of the TV title, but we'll get there when we get there. But congrats to Nick Wayne for the win. After this, we have a Ring of Honor Women's TV title Proving Grounds match. Our girl, Red Velvet, is back. She goes against Ashley Vox. The match didn't really take too long, but at least it wasn't a squash. It's like we can still have local talent get in the ring and don't have to squash them and have our Ring of Honor guys and girls still look good. And I thought Red Velvet looked absolutely amazing. I love the fact that she's a heel. I think this fits her so much better than being a babyface. It gives her a really great personality, and it does something to her skills in the ring where you see the confidence, and she's just not the babyface that she was. And I think this fits her so much better. After she takes the win, here comes La Catalina, who comes out. She's the number 1 contender for the Ring of Honor TV title. They stare down each other in the ring before Red Velvet rolls on out. She got other things to do. She's a champion. And they're just like, okay, they're going to have their match soon. But since the pay-per-view is no longer next week, we don't know exactly when that's going to take place. Now, for those of you who did not know, Tony Khan announced at a taping, I believe last week, that they are introducing a new Ring of Honor title, the Ring of Honor Women's Pure title. If you ask me, we don't need this. We really don't need this because we just had the women's TV title last year, and it's literally only been two champions. Billie Starkz, the inaugural champion, and then Red Velvet. That's literally been it. Now, we could be focusing more on that. We could be focusing on building the women's division with Athena as well, but instead he's just like, now we're just going to put in the title. Initially, I thought that this would be Queen Aminata versus Serena Deeb. They had a sit-down interview last week. They're going to have the first ever Ring of Honor pure women's match, and I figured, okay, they're doing that for a new title. Fine, I'll take it. Whatever. Y'all know the pay-per-view is obviously not happening. So here we have 3 people who are announced tonight that will be part of the tournament. The first person they announced is Layla Gray. They gave her a nice video package, and she is ready to go in there and take that title. However, we have also announced Taya Valkyrie, and I was just like, thank the Lord that Taya is going to be in this. And then they shut the whole thing down when Deonna Purrazzo was announced to be in the tournament. I said, well, there's a winner right there. Deonna, in terms of the pure title, is the purest out of everyone in terms of her having a technical wrestling background in comparison to the other girls that are announced for the tournament. So far, just 3. I don't know about Serena and Queen Aminata, if that has anything to do with anything. I'm not entirely sure. But so far, we got 3 names. We don't know when the tournament's going to take place. And I'm kind of hoping it'll be something more like the Continental Classic, so that we can see more out of these girls. I don't necessarily care too much for the elimination style anymore. I just feel like with the Continental Classic, it's really given, it gives more excitement to a tournament to be able to do that round robin type style. So I'm hoping to go with that. Not sure what the details are, but so far we only have 3 people announced for the tournament, and my money is on Deonna Purrazzo. Main event, we have Top Flight and AR Fox teaming up with Pastor Briscoe to go against STP, which are Shane Taylor, Cardi Bravo, Sean Dean, and Lee Moriarty. Really great main event, by the way. And the chemistry is so great. And to be completely honest with you, everybody in the ring, I like them as a group and I like them as individuals. And I kind of feel like everybody in the ring is absolutely underrated. Even Mark Briscoe at times, I just feel like, he just getting in the ring for the check. He got like 9 kids he got to feed or whatever. But I always feel like he can always offer so much more, especially for Ring of Honor. Now, as much as I do like Top Flight and their team, STP, I feel like they haven't gotten their due yet, and there's something missing. What's missing for them is the wins. Literally the wins. I feel like everyone in the team is strong. They all have something that they're strong at, and that they should be winning more. They should be a team that when you hear them, that you should be striking fear within the roster, and they should, but they don't, because of the way that they're booked to lose every single time. And tonight was not an exception. Like the chemistry with both of these teams were really great. Everybody was showing up and showing out, and I enjoyed this a lot. And I feel like the wrong team won. The booking is very inconsistent with Top Flight as well. You know, I don't know. I mean, even until the win with this, I sometimes it's just like very wishy-washy with them. But so for whatever reason, they seem to always come on top of STP either way. I think it's time for Tony Khan to really consider, while I'm not a fan of this, I think probably the best thing that could be done is to keep Ring of Honor roster separate. I really feel like keeping it separate will keep the booking consistent with these wrestlers. Like, everybody who's watching Ring of Honor are also watching AEW, but not everybody who's watching AEW is watching Ring of Honor. That's just the truth. So now, if you are watching AEW and decide to watch Ring of Honor, you're going to see the people who are on AEW. And with the booking being very inconsistent, it gets in the way with how stars are perceived by the fans. So I think we should separate it. Even if it's not, it doesn't have to be like that forever. Maybe just for a little while we try to fix things up with Ring of Honor. But I think that would really work out for a lot of people to just keep things separate, at least while we try to make something bigger out of Ring of Honor. To be honest, the show, 45 minutes, when it was over, like, I was shocked. Because it felt like the 45 minutes came and went in, like, I don't know, 15. So it was quickly over. And the show felt like it's a great buy, but too short. And it was just like one of those things where it's like, hey, it's a fun show. It's a shame it couldn't last a little bit longer. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with Ring of Honor. I don't know anything about no damn TV deal at any point. But with them having to move pay-per-views like this throughout the year, it's not a good sign to me. But as usual, Tony Khan's going to end up figuring it out. Really great episode of Ring of Honor. If you didn't see it, go ahead and check it out. I'm hoping to see a lot of big things with a lot of people on this roster, regardless if they're on AEW Ring of Honor. A lot of people on social media who are within Ring of Honor AEW are literally tweeting about having bookings and all this free time that they have, and they're looking to be wrestling. No one under the contract should be saying that at all. Tony Khan, rent a place. You got a lot of money. Rent a studio and film Ring of Honor 2 to 3 times in a month and give us something worth watching. And I think that could definitely help go to the right direction with this company. You guys, thank you for watching my video. I will be back with a review on Collision. Collision isn't starting at its normal time this weekend. There's some basketball situation going on, and when that's finished is when Collision will end up coming on a little later on in the night. If you like my live streams, join us for that show, or you can wait for the review after that. I appreciate everyone who watched my content. See you guys in the next one. Bye.